Hey, this is Ryan from 60 Cycle Home, the Guitar Podcast. Today I'm going to be shooting out the Vox AC15cc1 against this Vox MV50. It's a tiny little amp with a tiny little tube in it. It's called a new tube. Go look them up. Try to figure out the technology for yourself. I don't fully understand it. It's magic as far as I'm concerned. All right, I've already got them dialed in pretty close to each other, as close as I could get it. On kind of a medium gain setting. So let's see what that sounds like. I'm going to start with the AC15 and then move over here. I'll let you know when I'm moving. Now over to the MV50. Back to the AC15. And now the MV50. The Vox AC15. MV50. AC15. So to my ear, the AC15 is a lot more open feeling as far as the EQ goes. There's a lot more frequencies bouncing around there. It feels like there's a bit of a mid scoop, especially in comparison to the MV50, which feels like it really has a pretty tight and bright mid hump in there. So they definitely vary in their tonality, but then the character of the dirt, the character of the response is very similar between the two. All right, what was I getting at? So they're kind of similar, but kind of different. I feel like you could run them in stereo together for a nice effect. But my initial hope when I was shopping for this thing was that it could replace this for, random Vox flavored demo work. And I really don't think I can do that in confidence so far. I'm going to do some more playing here. Let's get into some higher gain type stuff. So I might spend some time dialing that in, and I'll speed this up so you won't have to sit through it. All right, I've got them dialed in pretty close here. A little bit less gain dialed in on the AC15. I think it just has a little bit more gain headroom than the MV50, but not by much. I've got the MV50 with the gain dimed and the deep switch on in the back. Let's see how they compare. I'm going to do some big strums with some light dynamic work in between. Starting with the AC15. Now we'll try the same thing on the MV50. Not bad. I mean, they both sound very Voxy. They sound both like tube amps. I mean, this surprisingly sounds very tubey to me. They claim that little circuit in there is a tiny little tube, and it seems to be delivering. Just still, the EQ flavors are very different to me. Not very, but they are pretty different. This is just a bit more of a mid-push and a bit more of a mid-scoop. But kind of the brights match up on both of them, but then there's a lot more low presence that really fills out. And it's not like a punchy low, it's like an overall fullness with the AC15, where the lows, when they're there, they're very tight, they're very focused. They don't really wander into the rest of the signal. That's just me explaining what I'm hearing. I don't have technical terms for it. Let's try some light gain stuff. Again, I'll do a cut and dial it in time lapse. So here we go. All right, ready to go on the clean sound. I'm going to start with the AC15. I think I got these dialed in pretty close. We'll see, though. Let's use our ears. I'm going to start with another big chord and a little bit of lead noodling. All right, let's try the MV50 now. So yeah, still very different EQ flavors. I keep saying it. Mid bump here, mid scoop here. The brights dialed in clean are a little bit more. They're a little bit more shrill over here. This is just a lot more balanced as far as the EQ goes. Although it is a little bit more mid scoop than I prefer for my playing, but you can always add those mids in with, you know, a pedal or something like that. Supposedly, maybe you could take mids out by doing the same thing over here. I don't know. I haven't messed around with EQ shaping with pedals before this amp, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how effective that would be. It kind of just seems like it puts a gloss of mid bump over anything, so you'd have to really take the mids out of your signal before it hits it, I guess. Next, let's try a volume test, and then after that, I'm going to do the speaker swap. Okay, volume test. I don't think I need to spend the time dialing this in. Otherwise, hopefully this doesn't damage my ears. I'm going to set the gain to mid on both of them. All right, man, I'm a little scared. Will I even be able to tell the volume difference with both of these turned all the way up like this? Or is it just going to shake me to my core? All right, let's start with the AC15. That actually isn't bad with the master volume all the way up and the top boost volume in the middle. Let's try it with the top boost volume all the way up, even though that's the gain control. I think that's going to get us a little bit more volume. Still, it's not making me run for the hills. Let's see what happens with the MV15. The gain is halfway up right now, but the master volume is all the way up. Let's try it with the gain all the way up. was loud. That's for sure. I'm going to turn that down to get the noise level down in here. Perceivably, there isn't a huge difference, but this was louder to my ear. It claims to be 50 watts. Wattage can give you different effects depending on the style of amp, tube versus solid state versus, whatever else. I'm not completely sure how the little new tube technology in this works, how it compares in volume to another 50 watt amp. But I think at a certain level, both of these amps just kind of gain out at a volume that's pretty close to each other. I wouldn't say that this is dramatically louder, but it could honestly just be my ears reading all they can. But this one definitely felt a little bit like it was pushing into the uncomfortably loud territory, where this was quite a bit more manageable with it turned all the way up. Hey guys, so just after I recorded the max volume part on this demo, the MV50 stopped working on me. And I couldn't figure out why. I unplugged everything, replugged everything. It just quit on me. So I went and I packed it up, and I was getting ready to, see if I can ship it back. And I decided I'm just going to edit the footage I have and put it out. And maybe I'll get a new one in and continue it. And then I just decided, I'm going to go plug it back in, get footage of the issue of it not working, because it lit up and acted like it was on, and the little meter here would bounce around, but there was no output. So I hooked it all back up, and now it's working again. So I'm not completely sure what's going on with this thing. Maybe if you max it for too long, because I edited it down, I probably had it maxed for like 15 or 20 minutes, but it should... I don't know why an amp would shut down after being maxed for that long. You should be able to max it for really indefinitely if it's like a regular amp. That's how people get the tone that they want a lot of times. They just turn all the way up. So maybe it overheated or something. It didn't like being maxed out. I don't know. Some other fluke maybe. I don't know. But anyways, I was going to do a speaker shootout with it. I'm going to save that for another video. If anyone else has had this sort of issue with this model amp, please let me know in the comments. Also, after getting to edit it a little bit and hear how it sounds through the mic, I'd say that the representation in the recording over the mic is pretty close. Like, it's always going to be a little different than being in the room with it, using your ears with the speakers. The mic's always going to sound a little different. I'm not tweaking the EQ or anything that much. I always bring a lot of lows out just to give myself more headroom, because there's a lot of lows that you don't even hear. But this thing is a lot brighter, a lot more nasal in the recording, and this thing just sounds kind of, like I said again, kind of mid-scooped and kind of full and bright, full frequency. So just doing the editing I've already done, I'm not super impressed with this thing right now, especially since it quit on me. Like, imagine if I was playing a show with that. I'd really love to know what happened there. Yeah, if you've got an explanation, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.